broadcasting across the nation from the East Coast to the West, keeping you up to date on technology while enjoying a little whiskey on the side, with leading-edge topics, along with special guests, to navigate technology in a segmented, stylized radio program. The information that will make you go, Pull up a seat, raise a glass with our hosts as we spend the next hour talking about technology for the common person. Welcome to Tech Time Radio with Nathan Mumm.
Welcome to Tech Time with Nathan Mumm, the show that makes you go, technology news of the week, the show for the everyday person talking about technology, broadcasting across the nation with insightful segments on subjects weeks ahead of the mainstream media. We welcome our radio audience of 35 million listeners to an hour of insightful technology news. I'm Nathan Mumm, your host and technologist with over 30 years of technology expertise, and our co-host Mike Roday is in studio. Mike's an award-winning author and our human behavior expert. Now, today we're live streaming during our show on 5 of the most popular platforms, including YouTube, Twitch.tv, X, Facebook, and LinkedIn. We encourage you to visit us online at TechTime-Radio.com and become a Patreon supporter at patreon.com/TechTimeRadio. We are friends from different backgrounds, but we bring the best technology show possible weekly for our family, friends, and fans to enjoy. We are glad to have Odie, our producer, at the control panel today. Welcome, everyone. Let's start today's show.
Now on today's show.
All right, today on Tech Time with Nathan Mumm, buckle up as we dive into the latest technology news and stories. And here's what we have on today's show. Donald Trump, electric car controversy. Former President Donald J. Trump claims he'll stop all electric car sales. But is that really possible? We'll explore the impact of his statements and separate fact from fiction. Glue pizza and rock eating? Well, Google's AI search errors have gone viral, suggesting that you can use non-toxic glue to make cheese sticks to pizza, and recommended humans eat 1 rock per day. Is that in your current diet, Mike? Are you taking 1 rock per day?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. We also unravel the bizarre responses and discuss the implications of all of this AI with both Mike and Nick later on the show. And is the theater the place to watch movies? Hollywood faced one of the worst Memorial Day weekends in decades, with box office revenue hitting a 29-year low. We'll discuss the impact of the film industry. And, of course, joining us today, Nick Espinosa, a renowned cybersecurity expert from Security Fanatics. He'll be sharing his insight on cybercrime, AI takeovers, and data breaches. How can we protect ourselves in this digital age? And is the internet falling apart? Nick has some thoughts on all these and more. Now, remember, Tech Time Radio airs live on Kixie 880 AM, Seattle, Tuesday at 3 p.m. Pacific Time. And don't miss our Tech Talk witty banner and expert insights with a little whiskey on the side. Listen live or catch our latest episode on Tech Time's radio YouTube channel or tune in. In addition, we have, of course, our standard features, Mike's mesmerizing moment, our technology fail of the week, and a possible Nathan Nugget. But, of course, our pick of the day, whiskey tastings, to see if our selected whiskey. Have you
pre-tasted this one already?
Oh, this is some good stuff. Some selected whiskey.
It doesn't sound like it. That's called a Freudian slip there, buddy.
No, you get 0, 1, or 2 thumbs up at the end of the show. But now, everyone, let's sit back and get ready for the latest headlines in the world of technology.
Here are our top technology stories of the week.
All right, story number 1 broke this morning. Wasn't planned to have this, but you know what?
Yeah, I don't recall talking about this last night.
We did not. It broke this morning. Donald Trump says he's going to stop all electric car sales. Now, this guy is running for president, right?
Maybe.
Yes.
Okay.
All right.
Is he really?
Well, let's go to Corinne Westland for more on the story.
Former United States President Donald J. Trump is campaigning for re-election this fall by taking shots at the increasingly popular electric car industry. Trump has already called for oil and gas industry executives to donate significant campaign funds in exchange for reversal of Biden administration climate policies. If elected this November, Trump said he would roll back tailpipe emissions targets and dramatically slash EV tax credits. These policies may prove unpopular, as electric vehicle production has spurred job growth and investment in southern states. William Clay Ford Jr., executive chair of Ford Motor, told the New York Times, Our planning time frame is a lot longer than election cycles, Mr. Ford said at an event organized by the Detroit Free Press last month. When we're whipsawed back and forth by politicians, that becomes really difficult for us. This is sure to make everyone go, Back to you in the studio.
All right, so I'm trying to stay very neutral on any political individuals. Okay, so we've talked about positive and negatives, but Donald Trump just came on out, big story this morning, and says you will not be able to sell electric cars. Now, that is exactly what he said. I did all the fact checking to make sure it wasn't just like some news bite that someone
I don't think
there.
Anybody can be surprised that that statement came out of his mouth.
Well, the automotive landscape essentially projects their sales and their vehicles 15 years down the line. Right? So when Ford comes on out and says, hey, it's kind of like this every 4-year cycle, we need to worry about what's coming on. I can see them actually having some problems with this because they already have in their pipeline what they're going to be doing 5 years down the line, 10 years down the line. And most car companies have a cycle of 15 years that they project out to on what their vehicles are going to be done. Now, there is some issues that we've talked about quite a bit on our show regarding battery, lithium mining, and how that's going versus some of the wastes that are from traditional oil and
we
petroleum.
talked quite a bit about the pluses and minuses of the electric car industry.
But
can you make a blanket statement that as the president of the United States, you can stop that? I don't think so.
I don't think so either. And there's billions of dollars invested on books for automakers. With charging companies, they're putting up national charging stations across the nations. Is that a good idea? Maybe not. Maybe that money could be spent someplace else.
Well,
but
in order to have an electric car infrastructure, you have to have the ability to support that, right?
Yep. So you're going to need to have charging stations. They have these in Europe all over everywhere.
Yes. And one of the problems with Americans is that we don't really understand how small Europe is.
Correct.
So, it when you take that and look at our geographical region, it makes it for a little bit more difficult situation.
Especially if I have a lot of friends that I know specifically that work in the long haul trucking industry, and I've actually sat with them, and they said that Gwen's husband. Remember, we had Gwen's husband, Gwen Way, who's on our show.
This isn't going to be used for long haul trucking
because it's impossible because you have to charge the charging time. To charge your car back up again, it was much longer than it costs for you to fill up.
Yeah, the logistics of it just doesn't make sense.
And so, totally get that we're not ready to say electrical vehicles are going to replace all gasoline or diesel producing vehicles in the United States. And maybe it's probably going to be a hybrid of both electric cars and traditional cars for quite a foreseeable future. But to just come on out with a blanket statement like that, that's not a good idea. And I think that's kind of not using technology at its best core of how we can improve what we have, and instead of just going back to what we had previously.
Yeah, well, he's not known for not making statements like this. He makes blanket statements quite a bit. So
he does.
He's a lot like
Elon Musk,
your old boy Elon, who just blasts stuff on Twitter.
That's right.
Wait, X.
There you go.
Let me get that right.
All right. I think you got story number 2, Mike.
Yeah, this is a problem with large language models, right?
Okay.
Google AI just released it's not released completely. They're doing a limited release in Europe right now for their new AI search engine called AI Overview, right?
Okay.
And that is a large language model. If I'm not
correct.
Okay, good. So this has been getting a lot of problematic. It's been getting a lot of criticism lately, right? Because the new Google AI feature is facing criticism because of erratic answers, and part of it is because of the amount of people that are on there trying to trick it. Okay. I believe is probably the issue here.
Or is it that you're actually thinking the Onion site, the comedy sites are truthful?
It's pulling information from different sites. One, which is the Onion, which if you don't know, the Onion is a completely farcical sort of
it's comedy
news media
it's
comedy platform.
So like Saturday Night Live, where they make fun of certain stuff.
Yeah,
it's not always factual by any means.
No. So they're getting things like how do I keep cheese on my pizza, and it's bringing back answers like, well, use non-toxic glue, which
I guess that could work. But
that's a logical conclusion from a child brain.
Okay,
right? It also recommends that based on some information from geologists that eating a rock a day is good for your digestion.
Okay.
Which it is if you are a chicken and you need stuff in your craw to grind meal.
Okay.
Google spokesperson, of course, told BBC, this is all occurring overseas, right? Yeah. Told BBC that these were isolated examples. These answers appeared to be based on Reddit comments or articles written.
Yeah, Reddit is like the best place. I mean, that's the bulletin board service. You should get your news or your information from Reddit, a subreddit, and join. It's just like an old bulletin board service where you can post
right?
stuff.
It's an old bulletin board. So
and you can see these screenshots, man. This stuff can make you laugh for hours.
Yeah, well, Google insisted the feature was generally working well, and that the vast majority of AI overviews provide high-quality information with links to dig deeper on the web. And we've talked about this many times about, can you trust these things, and if trust is necessary for these things to work. In February, though, it was forced to pause its chatbot Gemini, which was criticized for its woke responses.
Yep.
Google then began trialing AI overviews and search results for the small number of logged-in UK users in April, but launched the feature to all U.S. users at its annual developer showcase in mid-May. Wade through pages of search engine results and adverts to find information if a chatbot can give you a single definitive answer, but this only works if you can trust it. See, there it is. So-called, and I have a problem with this term, so-called hallucinations by generative AI tools are not just a problem for Google, but as the world's largest search engine, it gets more scrutiny. In one baffling example, a reporter Googling whether or not they should use gasoline to cook spaghetti faster was told, no, but you can use gasoline to make a spicy spaghetti dish, and then it spit out a recipe for that. So we don't know how many searches it gets right, but these are the things that we key in on as human beings. The AI clearly needs some more tweaking here.
It does. So, I mean, well, the same with the AI-generated photos. Nothing's better. I sent out my New Year's photo, and I asked my AI...
I have one that I can tell you about off the air that is hilarious.
Okay.
Because we had a guy do a generative AI picture for something, and it came up with some really interesting features in that. So I'll tell you about that offline. It's not on air.
It's not on air.
Appropriate.
NSF?
Basically.
All right. Okay.
All right. There we go. So, yeah, these are...
So this is the problem with... and we're going to have to ask Nick this specifically. Is this why he's worried about the internet? Because essentially what's happening is people are starting to use these search bots instead of the old Google search, which you knew maybe it'd be good or maybe it wouldn't be good.
I have an admission. I have to admit something.
What's that?
I have actually been using Bing's
ChatGPT 4.0.
Well, it's Copilot, right?
Yep,
it's called Copilot.
But it uses
I have been using
4.0.
that more and more to get information because Google has been not able to give me the information that I need.
Yeah.
And that...
Bing is my homepage. Now, Bing's been a homepage for a while.
I'm not saying that I'm a convert here, but I'm saying that using the Copilot has been very helpful to get answers to questions that I can follow up on later.
Okay.
Because I'm querying Google for things, and it just can't keep up with the answers that I'm looking for, whereas this does
get you down the right path.
Right.
That's right.
The problem is, as human beings, is that we tend to...
We can't just believe it, though. Just like you don't believe everything you believe on the internet, right?
Yeah,
so when you search the internet, not everything that pops up on a search is true.
Out the window, though.
But we tend to believe stuff.
People are throwing that out.
People are ridiculous.
So they're like, oh, well, I saw it on the chatbot, so it must be true. Well, no, because I can post bad stuff on a website.
Bard. That's Google.
This is a human behavior issue.
There's now
Right.
Gemini. They keep on changing the
Oh,
name.
they keep changing.
Yeah,
the
because
name.
they keep on sucking on what they're doing.
Okay, well, if you guys don't want to know about
What was that? Keep on going. Sorry, what was that?
No, you
Do
guys
tell.
keep talking
No,
about
go.
Gemini and the names.
Okay,
It doesn't,
go.
it
What
doesn't
was
matter what I need to say.
What did you say? Go, Mike.
I'm saying my issue here is that human beings have what's called a heuristic way of gathering information. That's one of the problems that we have, is that when we see information like this, we tend to believe it more than if somebody said it to me.
Okay, there you go.
Mm.
All right, let's go to story number 3.
Thank you.
This is a meltdown at the movies. What's going on here?
The movie box office is at its biggest low in nearly 30 years.
Oh, my word.
Yeah.
What's going on here?
Well, Memorial Day is a big weekend for the box office. Not this weekend, though. They made $128.3 million over the last 4 days with Furiosa?
Furioso, yeah.
Furiosa, the prequel to the Mad Max movies, and the Garfield movie running neck and neck.
Okay, those sound like really 2 movies I'm running out to watch tomorrow.
No.
Okay, all right. But, okay, keep on going.
But yeah, this is the lowest that it's been since 1995. And, you can blame COVID-19 because people don't really see a reason to go to the theater anymore.
Yeah, so let's talk about a little bit of that. So I don't think my wife has not been back to a theater since COVID.
COVID, I think, hit the movie industry harder than we expected.
That's one of the biggest things that has not been able to bounce back, in my opinion.
And you know what? I have just about as good a sound system at home. I don't have the.
Yeah, we could all talk about how this is, but for there's even if you have the sound system, even if you have the big screen TV,
okay,
even if you have the cheaper eatings,
not $15 popcorn. I can go pop it.
Yeah, you still get a very different experience in a movie theater.
I agree.
Yeah,
In the words of AMC's Nicole Kidman, we make the movies here.
Yeah, but
you don't get that at home.
Okay, but you didn't come out with some good movies.
There you go.
we got a lot of B-rated movies coming on out right now.
I agree.
Well,
so the Beekeeper's the last movie.
Is that really your opinion?
Yeah.
Or is that fact?
Well, I went outside the new Planet of the Apes.
You didn't like it. That's your opinion.
I still haven't seen it,
Okay.
and I'm excited for
it. Okay, Furiosa just came out.
Yeah, so
I don't know. I haven't watched.
I was at Planet of the Apes.
Make
I came out to go to the restroom, and there are people walking out of the Furiosa movie saying this is the worst movie they've ever been at. And while the movie's
really
going
not,
on,
yeah, but that's really not a scientific.
Well,
that's
I'm
really
just
not
saying.
scientific evidence that this is.
I didn't walk by Garfield. Probably would have been empty.
I don't know.
I heard Garfield was really bad too.
I'm sure it was.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think we haven't quite bounced back to this. I know because I go to the movie theater all the time.
Okay.
I go.
Do you have a movie pass?
I do. And
Okay.
I use it. I use it when I can get my butt out of my easy chair at home.
Okay.
Right. And one of my biggest issues is I go to late shows because I don't want a full auditorium.
Okay.
But I want all the sound and everything. And one of my biggest issues lately has been the people that are there.
Yeah.
They're not there to watch the movie.
Oh,
They're
really?
there to talk and chat and have.
Really?
Yeah, I've had
I've
several
had that
times
issue as
where
well.
I'm getting that more too.
I have made a grumpy guy
complaint. Oh wow!
I never thought that I would be that person to be annoyed.
Yeah.
And I think it was when I saw the Barbie movie last year. It was so frustrating to be in that movie with a bunch of teenagers.
Mm-hmm.
And that's
they're
the issue.
mostly teens.
That's the issue because this is actually a really big thing in like the elementary schools
because
COVID affected the way that kids are supposed to interact with the public.
Mm-hmm.
Completely destroyed.
They have no barriers.
They have
no idea.
I've noticed trends since coming back from COVID is that when I go to the theater, I notice a lot of younger people wearing pajamas.
Yeah,
which I find
just crazy.
Yeah,
wait, hold on.
That's a little nuts.
Oh,
for
you
me.
do that?
I do that. I don't think that's nuts. I go there to be cozy.
It's
okay.
There is still some public awareness that we need, and when I go and I see kids with their PJs and like teddy bears and stuff like that,
Oh, hold on.
that kind of concerns me.
I don't do that.
Okay,
And then with them chatting and yakking throughout the movie, that.
So the last good movie I've seen was The Beekeeper. That was actually like I didn't think it was going to be as good as it was, and it actually kind of peaked up. Most of the stuff I've seen, besides
Well, did you see
I saw
Dune? Did you see Dune?
You didn't see Dune?
I didn't see
Okay.
Dune 2, no.
Okay, so that was, I think.
Now, the King Kong movie I did see in the movie theater.
Okay,
that
did
was
you
good.
like it? I liked it a lot.
And I hate
hated
reading anything in a movie. I hate subtitles, but that was so good.
Okay.
I watched King Kong X
Yep.
Godzilla, right? That's what it was?
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, that
was
was
good.
pretty. It was a bad movie, but
But
I really enjoyed it.
I think we just haven't gotten the speed up.
Is
yet
Deadpool 3 going to save it?
No,
I don't know.
You can say that
because Deadpool 3 should be very awesome.
It should be.
It should be.
You can say that, but the same. What was it? When the last Spider-Man came out, what was it? Not Far From
Homecoming.
No, not Homecoming.
No, whatever the new one where all three were back.
Where all three were back. That was astronomical for the box office. Those opening day numbers, insane.
Yeah.
And I am expecting that Deadpool 3 is going to do the same thing.
I would.
The theater did not kick back up after that.
That's
The
Well-
Barbie movie, there was Barbenheimer, which you go see Barbie and then Oppenheimer. That didn't kick up the movie.
Barbenheimer.
Yeah, Barbenheimer.
That's funny.
That was a trade.
That
All
was
right.
the whole thing.
No, I think because COVID really put a damper on that, and then also movies are quicker to the streaming services. So we're taking they're
Like Madam Web.
My brother just bought the Fall Guy,
and I'm
so I can watch
guilty of this because a lot of times if I'm forced into a choice, I will probably take the streaming version because then I don't have to get up and get dressed and get ready. And
you can stay in your pajamas at home.
Yeah, where I'm supposed to be in my pajamas.
Boo.
All right, okay. All right, well, that ends our top technology stories of the week. When we return, we have Nick Espinosa from Security Fanatics. He's going to be joining us to discuss cybercrime, AI takeovers, and data breaches in our featured segment. You're listening to Tech Time with Nathan Mumm. We'll see you after this commercial break.
This is Mark.
And Greg.
For Copiers Northwest.
With a terrific offer
called Printer Care Plus.
It's simple. Buy HP printer cartridges from Copiers Northwest and we'll service your current printers for free.
That sounds too good to be true.
It's made possible due to our HP Copiers Northwest relationship.
Copiers Northwest is an HP Platinum partner.
One of only 2 in the entire Northwest.
And now with Printer Care Plus,
Copiers Northwest will provide free printer service.
As long as they purchase genuine HP cartridges from Copiers Northwest.
That's right. IT departments no longer have to service printers.
Or fix paper jams with Printer Care Plus.
They can focus on more strategic initiatives.
And let our experienced technicians keep their HP printers up and running.
Sounds like a love-love relationship for IT departments.
Don't get too carried away. So how do they get more details on Printer Care Plus?
Call Copiers Northwest today, 206-282-1200, or visit copiersnw.com.
Copiers Northwest. New ideas, new solutions.
All right, welcome back to Tech Time with Nathan Mumm. Our weekly show covers the top technology subjects without any political agenda. We verify the facts, and we do it with a sense of humor in less than 60 minutes. And, of course, with a little whiskey on the side. Today, Mark Gregoire, our whiskey connoisseur, is back in studio. So, Mark, what have you chosen for us today?
Today, we are drinking Michter's Baumburger's Declaration Small Batch 2023.
Wow, that's a mouthful.
You can just call it Baumburgers.
No.
Okay.
No.
What?
Never mind.
You can call it... All right, Kentucky Straight Bourbon. All right.
That's pretty straightforward compared to some of the other whiskeys
that we'd have. Okay, that's true. But you gotta-
Actual mouthfuls.
when you put it on your website, though, you got to abbreviate. Okay, no, continue on. Tell us what we got.
All right, so from Michter's website, this 2023 release continues the Baumburger's tradition of offering bold and beautiful 108 proof Kentucky Straight Bourbon with a rich and layered complexity due to a portion of the bourbon being aged in Chimquapin oak.
Chimquapin.
Chimquapin.
Okay.
Whopping.
Yep, it's a special oak from
That's a
Kentucky.
mouthful.
Okay.
That's a mouthful.
It is. In addition, some malted rye was used in the production of this bourbon. This is a bold and rich whiskey featuring its signature fruit and spice, coupled with rich molasses and a complex, lingering finish of rich chocolate and warm baking spices that give you something to savor. Now, as we mentioned, this is from Michter's Distillery, which is bottled in Kentucky. Straight bourbon. It's non-age stated, 108 proof. It is 79% corn, 11% rye, 10% malted barley. At least that's what it's assumed to be. And the bottle is a hefty $175.
Wow.
$175.
Yeah, certainly not going to appear on Nathan's show.
That would be tough to get on my show.
That would, unless you stole it.
Is the 175 that's the secondary market, or is that the primary market?
It's a primary market.
What's the secondary market going on?
Surprisingly, the secondary market is not that far off on that. They're about the same.
Okay.
Well,
when it's up to that
certainly
high,
enjoying. I got some fruity notes out of it and a very savory finish.
Oh, did
almost bitter. Yeah, there was some bitterness to the finish. I haven't figured it out yet.
Okay. All right. Well,
what if that's the malted rye?
That could be.
Okay. I don't know. All I know is I like it.
All I know is you poured me a second glass.
You don't want to talk about the
just
burn.
Started. I didn't really get a burn. Did you get a burn?
Yeah, initially, yeah.
I didn't get any burn.
Yeah, there was a lot of alcohol burn to it.
Maybe that's because I drank it a little bit before we started the show.
Probably because you're Mr. Pre-Taste.
There you go. All right. Well, Mark, I can't wait to find out what today is and more about our whiskey later.
I think you know what today is.
All right. Okay. Well, with our first whiskey tasting completed, let's move on to our feature segment. Today, our technology expert, Nick Espinosa, is joining the show. Nick is an expert in cybersecurity and network infrastructure, has consulted with clients ranging from small business to the Fortune 100 level. In 1998, at the age of 19, Nick founded Windy City Networks, which was later acquired in 2015. He then created Security Fanatics, where he is the chief security fanatic. We welcome Nick to the Comcast video stream to start our next segment.
Welcome to the segment we call Ask the Experts, with our Tech Time Radio expert, Nick Espinosa.
Hi, Nick.
Hi, Nick. How you doing?
Hey, how's it going?
Good. How are things? I see you're at home, ready to go now. Are you watching Star Trek Discovery? Do you watch that series?
So interestingly enough, I've just started it over, just to bring myself back up to speed before I do the final season.
Okay.
But I am very excited for that, and I think it's gonna be pretty awesome.
All right, I'm glad you're watching Star Trek.
Discovery. Okay, well, I just finished, I think, season 3 of The Burn. I'm rewatching it too.
Of Star Trek.
Yeah, they go back to the burn where this guy, the lithium.
We don't need to. We don't need it. We're just going to mess with your pronunciations.
There you go. Okay, so besides that, all right, Nick, let's talk about some security issues. First off, we talked last week on the show about Microsoft and recall. All right, so how is Microsoft's new recall a privacy and security nightmare?
Yeah, so this is the kind of thing that keeps me up at night, quite frankly, because when you think about it, most people are not going to realize the longitudinal issues with this. Now, if you don't know what it is, Microsoft Recall is integrated into Windows 11, and it's going to be integrated into all of Windows 11 sooner than later. And Recall works essentially by taking screenshots of what you're doing on your computer every few seconds, essentially recording what you're doing and then putting it into like an index, a database, and then applying artificial intelligence to the whole thing. So if you're thinking, oh, what did I search on 2 months ago? You know, it was like a recipe for whatever. It'll find it. It'll tell you, which is awesome, right? And by default, it's going to be there for 3 months, meaning 3 months of your past history. And to be fair to Microsoft, they say, but all of this is going to be encrypted by BitLocker and all that fun stuff, and they're not going to put it in their cloud. But let's think this one through, because Microsoft, while they are a software and platform company, they're also a big data company, and they have a history of exploiting users' data for profit, just like Google's and Facebook's and everything else. So it's really hard to trust Microsoft when it comes to the data that we are going to be putting in this. And for all we know, they are looking at this long term saying, we're all going to get used to this. We're all going to love it. And then they'll change the privacy policy on it. And think about what this thing will essentially be recording. You open up your password manager and expose passwords. It'll have a screenshot of that. You know, account numbers on your banking website when you log in. You know, if you're in Word typing in a confidential document, you know, if you're up at 2 a.m, messaging somebody you shouldn't, you know, it's going to understand these things.
Talking
and while
to
you
Ashley
have
Madison
the ability,
bots.
Well, wow.
Talking to Ashley Madison bots.
I guess that's what Mike does. Okay, all right. Well, continuing. I guess it'll save that information for you. Okay.
Exactly. But think about all this kind of stuff. And so while Microsoft says, well, you can block that, you can turn off it from screenshotting your password manager, most people we know by studies don't touch these things. Something like 3% of us only would go in and take a look and tweak and adjust. Everybody else is just going to use it. And so this is a long-term nightmare. Not to mention the fact if you get data breached, that encryption from BitLocker doesn't do a thing. The attacker has access to everything that you essentially have screenshotted thanks to recall. So not a fan at all of this one.
What's the likelihood that they're going to back off of this idea?
There's no way. There's no way. They're building this in to the infrastructure of the OS itself. I mean, this is.
So see, somebody like me, I was inflamed when we talked about this.
Okay,
that just ticked me off.
Okay,
and part of it was because I don't want them scrutinizing my passwords.
Your late chats at night. I get you. Okay,
right?
Yeah,
and then. Yeah, right.
Okay.
My late chats with Ashley Madison Buzz.
Okay.
But I also see this. I see this from the human behavior perspective, which Nick talked about. Is that this is going to be? You said it very succinctly. Microsoft, you're going to love it and get used to it.
Yeah, so that's how they do it. Yeah, Microsoft's really good at that. I mean, this is how Netflix does it. This is how all these people said that they have privacy to start out with. Then a year or two after you get addicted to what's going on, then they release a new privacy user level agreement, and then you just said okay because you're used to using it, and then all of a sudden less privacy.
Slack.
Yeah,
Slack did this.
Slack gave everything away for free on the corporate side so you could communicate back and forth. And then they started charging because it was easier to charge after a while. And boom, you're all infrastructured into it. You already know how to do it. And it's too difficult to change.
At some point,
Nathan, they added just in the last week or so, we just found out they added an AI that even if you're paying for it, they're hoovering up everything you're doing to feed it to their artificial intelligence.
Oh, really? I had not heard that. Okay.
And you have to jump through hoops to opt out. It's like a specific email with a specific thing you've got to say from the specific account holder account to opt out of this. They opted everybody in, and they have been applying AI. So think about Slack. People say intimate things. They might store pictures, a picture of your passport, whatever. It's all there, and the AI is taking all of it.
See, this is what angers me. This really just drives me absolutely nuts.
Oh yeah.
There has to be a breaking point at somewhere down the line.
No,
where
we all get used to it, and then we just get addicted to it. It's like the Matrix.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter. Even addicts have a point at which they turn around.
So we would have to go back to
bottom, though.
That's right. Rock bottom.
Yeah, that's when that's when the United States no longer is a major country and everything else starts back over.
According to some of these people, it's all going to be
Mike. I just don't see torches and pitchforks, at the doors of the CEOs, right? I mean,
not yet.
Okay, but you're going to lead the charge.
I feel like there needs to be a break point somewhere close to now.
Okay, well,
yeah.
How about if you decided to? Let's talk about this. We had a Tesla just 2 weeks ago. Just 2 weeks ago, somebody in the Pacific Northwest decided to come home from their lunch break, and they didn't want to drive their car, so they put
it in self-driving mode, played on their phone, and ran over somebody
in a motorcycle and killed him.
Mm-hmm.
And he's being charged with manslaughter. Now, though, Nick, you got a great Tesla story. What happened to our current self-driving vehicle?
Well, I don't know why we're actually talking about this because these will all be outlawed in 6 months when we change administration.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, we don't have to worry about this anymore.
So why bother?
Yeah, that's right.
No, this one is absolutely nuts, and it really underscores why self-driving mode, quite frankly, is just not ready for prime time. So this guy was coming back. It was slightly foggy out. He was doing 60 and a 55, or rather his Tesla was doing 60 and a 55. And you can see on the video, because these things record everything, he is getting closer and closer and closer to a moving train. You can see flashing red lights. You can see the cars go by. And at the very last second, he takes manual control and basically spins a Tesla out before literally killing himself, or rather having the car kill himself by driving him straight into a train it simply didn't see. Mm-hmm. And so that is obviously an issue. And any human that put eyeballs on that video, you can totally see a train coming in the distance. It's absolutely insane. And so if anything, like they're looking at what happened there, but quite frankly, if it's missing things like that, big moving objects in front of it with flashing lights, I wouldn't trust this thing to save my life.
And that's what we were talking about earlier, is where does trust? We have to be able to trust it.
Right.
And the problems with humans is that they will trust something to the point of running into a train.
Yeah.
Because they've been told to do it.
I had a smart person
trust
tell me.
And verify is a nice sentiment, but humans are not like that.
Oh, okay.
Right. But Mike, the other problem is, and this is why California is looking into it, is that you've got people like Elon Musk saying, "Oh, it's great. It works fine. Just have at it." And by virtue of who he is, there's a lot of people that trust that.
Yep.
When I did like a daily podcast on this one, I inflamed once again all the Tesla fanboys who told me I was the stupidest man on the internet once again. Every time I talk about Tesla, I always get flack for it. And so to that point, people are shutting themselves off because they have an expectation that this is already going to be perfect. I live in Chicago. If it's a nice sunny day and it's completely clear, it might be fine. But we have winter slush, all this mess. I would never trust an AI over the decades, unfortunately, of experience I have behind a wheel driving in that kind of condition, right? So everything's relative.
Well, as somebody who studies human behavior, there's a point at which you go, all right, just go ahead and do it, because we're just gonna get all this out of the way, and then there's not going to be anybody left, and everything's going to be fine.
There you go. All right, Google's new AI overview features as amusing and dangerous. Nick, you've mentioned online that you think Google is killing the internet. Explain your thoughts on this.
Yeah, well, so part of it is what you guys mentioned earlier. I mean, this is the big issue that I've got with this, is that Google in and of itself has been a standard. There is a certain, to get into Mike's realm, there's a certain level of trust that Google has created. And when you get Google results, over the years, it is what it is. Oh, that restaurant will be open on Memorial Day, right? Because Google tells you that it's true. And so when you have something that is spouting off things like, oh, how do I clean my dryer or my washing machine? Chlorine, bleach, and white vinegar together. Basically telling the user to make chlorine gas.
Yeah.
These are things that are actually happening to this, and that's a huge issue. Now, on top of it, we have another issue that's parallel to Google in the sense that we are essentially, the internet is disappearing. And according to Pew Research, 38% of all web pages that existed in 2013 are now gone. And it is happening faster and faster and faster. And the issue that we have here, I think, personally, is that one, we are consuming an enormous amount of space. If you think about it, every single day we are uploading 720,000 hours worth of content to YouTube, including right now. We are literally uploading content, to YouTube and Twitch and everywhere else that you're broadcasting. But that is an enormous amount of data. And so the speed of which they are trying to increase the drives, replace old ones with bigger ones, spin up data centers, I think is causing this issue. And so they are very fast now to take down pages. And obviously we abandoned things. You started a blog about your dog during the pandemic. You're probably not doing it now, and you probably got that taken off. But the issue here is that we are not going through and understanding really that we should be classifying the data for preservation, especially when you're looking at stats that show that something like 20% of now news links historically are gone. Meaning, oh, this was the reference to an issue 5-10 years ago, and that link no longer works. I don't care about the stupid TikTok videos being saved. I do care about the record of human existence and news on whatever it is. And so these are huge issues. And Google's contributing to this, quite frankly, by one, using this AI, and then two, just everybody's overlinking with these ads and everything. And you combine that with just the disappearance of websites, and we've got a real serious issue that we're not addressing.
This is all for short-term consumerism.
Yeah, so I have a friend that does, it's kind of like a bounty hunter, but he does social media type of stuff. He ended up going to, I think it was in Chicago, as a matter of fact, and he ended up buying all the microfiche. You remember the microfiche, the stuff that you'd used to have?
Yeah,
and so that was like on some type of auction site that was available, and he got like 100 years worth of data for a couple $100, and essentially he's got a microfiche type of deal, and he can't find any of those articles anywhere online. He can't find any of those articles in archives anymore. And so
Right.
he literally now, and he's going to make a hobby of this. He's going to go try to find all this microfiche from all these locations and then index it and actually create historical records of this because there's none of that information available. You can't go to a library and find that anymore.
Yeah, I mean, that's problematic because if we don't have an archive system, we also don't have a truth system.
Yeah, we don't have history.
Meaning there's no
Exactly.
It becomes a problem with
the truth,
facts versus fiction,
like the Civil War.
Exactly.
If you don't have the Civil War all documented correctly now, all of a sudden this guy was horrible, and maybe in today's standard, that's the case. But back then, at the time, you have to understand the relationship.
Yeah, but
between
what we're doing now
on.
is we're losing that footing now,
Right.
and in 20 years, people are going to try and find things about what's been going, and they're not going to have a factual way of doing it.
Yep.
Right. So it starts in my world with data classification, understanding that which we should preserve just as a record of humanity. And again, it's not the stupid TikTok dance videos. We just need one of those, not 8 million, right? But we should have every single news article that's come out, good, bad, or ugly, because that's who we are and that's who we've been. And if we start rewriting history because we can't have anything to verify it against, we end up with a longitudinal problem. And with the trust being lowered by Google with these ridiculous, hey, let's all eat rocks, results.
I got a blue pizza.
Problem,
All right, Nick.
It's crazy.
Thank you so much for coming on the show. It's always a pleasure to have you talking about cybersecurity. Where can people connect with you offline and find out more information about what you're talking about, especially all of those Tesla owners?
Yeah. Well, please no Tesla owners unless you're cool. I'm really tired of it. But feel free to like, share, follow me, Facebook and Twitter, Nick A ESP. Subscribe to YouTube. I'm happy to hang out.
All right. Thank you so much for being a part of our show, Nick.
Bye, Nick.
Thanks, guys. Have a good one.
All right.
You too.
Well, that ends our Ask the Expert with Nick Espinosa. Up next, we have This Week in Technology. So now would be a great time to enjoy a little whiskey on the side, as we will be doing so during our break. You're listening to Tech Time Radio with Nathan Mumm. See you in a few minutes.
Join the fun and grab tickets to GeekFest West, the 3-day Geek Festival extravaganza of fun and entertainment that will take place on the third weekend in July. Learn more at geekfest.com. GeekFest will feature diverse activities, including a film festival, vendor hall, street fair, outdoor music festival, cosmic cosplay, and video game tournaments. Join us at GeekFest West, the ultimate celebration of geek culture. To learn more, visit geekfest.com. That is geekfest.com.
And now, let's look back at this week in technology.
All right, we're going to May 26, 1995. Bill Gates declares the internet the most important single development. Realizing his company had missed the boat in estimating the internet's impact and popularity, Microsoft corporate CEO Bill Gates issued a memo titled The Internet Tidal Wave, which signaled the company's renewed focus on that arena. In the memo, Gates declared that the internet was the most important single development since the IBM personal computer, a development that he was assigning the highest level of importance for Microsoft. This was then posted in the Micronews, Microsoft's internal newspaper, and put into everyone's mailbox slots for all the employees to read. Yours truly remembers reading this and thinking deeply about the internet.
Yeah, I wonder how he feels about the internet dying.
Well, there you go. Well, that was This Week in Technology. If you ever wanted to watch some Tech Time history with over 200 weekly broadcasts spanning 4+ years in video, podcasts, and blog information, you can visit us at techtimeradio.com to watch our older shows. We're going to take a commercial break. When we return, we have Mark's Mumble Whiskey Review. See you after this break.
Hello, my name is Arthur, and my life's work is connecting people with coffee. Story Coffee is a small batch specialty coffee company that uses technology to connect people to each product resource, which allows farmers to unlock their economic freedom. Try our Medium Roast Founder Series coffee, which is an exotic bourbon variety that is smooth, fresh, and elegant at storycoffee.com. That's STORI coffee.com. Today you can get your first bag free when you subscribe at storycoffee.com with code TechTime. That's STORI coffee.com.
The segment we've been waiting all week for, Mark's Whiskey Mumble.
Gentlemen, what does your tummies tell you today is?
Today is Drink Whiskey Day.
Yeah, we already know what today is.
We know what today is.
You know what today. Everybody knows what today is.
Today
National Hamburger Day.
National Hamburger Day.
Yes.
We're going to probably go have one at the post show meeting, right? A nice hamburger.
That sounds good to me.
All right, there you go.
I started yesterday with Oklahoma Smash Burger.
There you go. What was that? What are you playing, Odie?
Today's subject, the Hamburglar.
Ooh, the Hamburglar.
The Hamburglar is very clever.
Do you even know what the Hamburglar is?
Sneaky.
Yes.
Yeah, you know who the Hamburglar is?
Yes.
Okay,
only because she's been exposed to it from us.
No, from childhood as well.
Okay, what did he do?
He stole hamburgers.
He did. From who?
Oh, I don't know.
Mayor McCheese, man.
Yeah.
Everybody.
Well, and everybody.
Yeah.
Except for he never stole any of them out of Ronald's hands.
Oh, okay.
That was like the thing.
Was that a big
controversy? Yeah, it was kind of a deal.
Yeah,
He
I
couldn't
wasn't
steal
part
it
of
from
that.
Ronald.
Do you remember the Fry guys?
Oh yeah, the Fry guys were. That was the.
No, she doesn't. She doesn't.
No.
She has no idea what the Fry guys are.
All right, you old man.
Okay.
Let's talk about Today we're celebrating America's most iconic food, originating in Hamburg, Germany. The hamburger, as we know it, was developed in Seymour, Wisconsin, a town still famous for its hamburger heroics. Now, today is also another day that I love to celebrate.
Uh-oh.
Slugs return from Capistrano Day.
Slugs return from
What?
What is that?
This day brings awareness about slugs and the role they play in our ecosystem. So please do not bomb them with salt. It is believed, and I put that in quotes, heavy quotes, believe that slugs spend the winter in Capistrano and return to our patios and gardens during this holiday period.
Oh, okay.
That's an interesting little.
Don't put salt on it. Oh, yeah, okay.
Hey, man. Defend the slugs.
No.
Stand for them.
No. I have
Protect
salt right by the door.
Yeah, same here.
No.
I'm going to throw salt at the
All right,
slugs,
okay.
but I don't have.
Well, tell us more about the.
I don't
whiskey.
have a garden anymore.
All right,
So
moving on from bombing slugs and eating burgers, today we're sipping on bomb burgers. Dun, dun, dun.
Oh, okay.
it should be slug burgers.
This bourbon was named after Abraham Baumberger, who was a Pennsylvania distiller and one of the pioneers in American whiskey. Baumberger was a Mennonite. Now, this is a Christian sect that escaped persecution in Europe and were some of the earliest settlers in Pennsylvania. Mennonites in Europe for years have been engaged in distilling, the liquor trade, and barkeeping. In northeastern Germany, the term Mennonite and tavern became almost synonymous.
How about
I did not
that?
know that.
How about that for some?
I like that.
Trivia.
That's your little Mark Nugget today.
I like that. Our Mark Nuggets are good. I did
You're
not know
gonna
the
talk about
Mennonites
Mark
made
Nuggets.
Okay.
Now, for me, I love Baumburgers. I feel each year is getting better and better, especially the last few years, with this one being my favorite so far.
Mm-hmm.
The addition of the malted rye and the finishing in the Chinquapin oak brings it to a new level.
Okay. That's good.
If you don't want to buy a bottle, that's fine. It is a little expensive, but try and find a pour somewhere to give it a try.
There you go. I just go to Mark's house. Thank you so much.
Yeah, it's not going to be on your shelf.
It's not going to be on my shelf,
Too
but
much
I
for
can
you.
go to Mark's place and then I can drink it.
I'm pretty sure he's not going to share.
I have a second bottle.
Oh, okay. All right.
Okay. Whiskey and technology
Thanks for supporting me there, buddy.
are such great pairings, just like the NBA super franchises, the LA Lakers and the Boston Celtics. Now the aforementioned is headed back to the NBA Finals.
Boo.
All right, let's prepare for our technology fail of the week, brought to you by Elite Executive Services.
We are out of time. Congratulations. You're a failure.
Oh. I failed, did I?
Yes.
Did I?
Yes.
Did I?
Yes.
All right, well, this week our failure comes from the prescription management company SaveRx. Have you seen this company? This is huge. This is like the major RX company that's out there. It is warning 2.8 million people in the United States that has suffered a data breach, stating that their personal data was stolen in 2023 cyber attack. Now, A&A Services, doing business as SaveRx, is a pharmacy benefit management company that provides prescription drug management services to employers, unions, and other organizations across the United States. On Friday, the company notified the Maine's Attorney General's office of the cybersecurity incident in October 2023 that exposed the data of 812,336 people, just 2 million plus. All right. SaveRx explained that it took them 8 months to send out notices of breach to impacted customers because their initial priority was to minimize the interruption to patient care.
Of course.
Before launching an investigation on the impact of the incident itself. Now, on October 8, 2023, we identified an interruption to our computer network. As a result, we immediately took steps to secure our systems, they said, and engaged a third-party cybersecurity expert that said the notification sent the impacted individual's information. Now, our information team, our IT systems, were restored the next business day and prescriptions were shipped out on time without delay. The impact of his business operation was kept to a minimum with no delays on the shipment, medical prescriptions, or pharmacy claims. But their systems did give out information that exposed for each individual their full name, date of birth, social security number, email address, physical address, phone number, eligibility data, and insurance identification number.
How about that?
Now, the company noted that it did not have sufficient contact information to notify some of these individuals, and in many cases, people are urged to confirm if they've been infected by calling 888-326-0815. That's 888-326-0815. As, guess what? The information was sold on the dark web, and criminal actors have made prescription purchases during this time. The funny thing is, SaveRx has no problem charging you immediately the following day for the consumer items that were purchased, but they just don't care about your security. So essentially, I can purchase for about 75 cents if you were on SaveRx, your information. I can then go online to SaveRx with your information, buy drugs that you were prescribed so I can see what type of prescriptions you have, and then I can have them shipped to a different address, and then it will bill the customer of the security breach that was there.
Yeah, well,
and they said that
somebody wants my asthma medicine.
This is such a fail. SaveRx should be shot in the foot so that they got to limp around the rest of
huh?
that's I saved it there. Shot in the foot so they limp around the rest of their life.
I don't know why you're even getting excited, but I don't use SaveRx, but it doesn't matter because my medical information got breached
3 weeks ago.
3 weeks ago. So, it just doesn't matter anymore.
Oh man, this is that's ridiculous. They need to be held responsible.
All right. I don't know what that means anymore.
Okay, Mike, well, you're going to have to help me out with your mesmerizing moment here, okay?
Okay.
All right.
This is Mike's mesmerizing moment, presented by Story Coffee. Visit storycoffee.com.
All right, is AI helping calm people's nerves or causing anxiety?
Okay, you're going to have to expand on that a little bit. What do you mean by that?
Well, so so you said that you started using AI. I'm glad that you started using it. When you use it, is that more of a relaxing feature for you to use it? Or does it provide an anxiety hit that you're using a robot to get that information that you have?
When I use it, I'm looking for information.
Okay.
That Google can't provide for me.
Okay.
So in a way, yes, I don't know that you can put anything, whether it's anxiety inducing or not, into that simple thing.
Okay.
It's a tool. I used it. I do verify information. So if I query it with the information I'm looking for and it gives it to me and then I can find the references, that makes me feel good. Okay. Overall, I think we are going to see a lot more anxiety as these types of things are rolled out more and more because of the consequences of using it with blind trust, and also because the amount of information that you're getting from it. So what I get upset about the AI is I'll ask it a simple question like, I want to know if something happened on a certain date,
okay,
and it won't just tell me no. It'll give me this whole big spiel about what is not in part of the query.
Okay,
so that drives me crazy. So, in that sense,
I do like the
too much information.
I really like the Bing way that they've done it, where they give you the 1 or 2 or 3 resources, and then you can click on the page to go through that.
I'm glad that they're giving me resources, but as we talked about with Nick, those resources are going away.
Yep.
So yeah, I think overall we're going to see that it's going to create more anxiety in general.
Yep.
Because of the information overload.
Okay.
We are not designed for all this information that we're getting all the time.
And it's a lot of information.
It's a lot of information.
And it's amazing.
We are adapting. We are not adapting in healthy ways. We are maladapting to this behavior.
And there's a certain way that you talk with the AI that's I'm now every time I look for something, I say in the voice of a lawyer or in the voice of a manager or in the voice of a layman. I use those type of deal to do anything I look at now on the web because the AI has taught me that.
Yeah, I regularly cuss it, Alexa.
All right, we're going to do a Nathan Nugget, but we're not going to do a Nathan Nugget because I'm going to give you a tease on what's going to be on when Gwen's on the show because she's going to be talking about this Kickstarter campaign for something that will help protect your home with a security camera and something else. So you're going to want to be here for gadgets and gear. We talked about it last night on the production show. What a funny thing. Although a little expensive, it'll be available for that. Well, we appreciate you guys joining the show today. We make the show for all of our fans to listen to and to be a part of. We thank you so much for listening to Tech Time Radio. And remember, the science of tomorrow starts.
Thumbs up, thumbs down.
Today. Thumbs up, thumbs up.
I forgot to do thumbs up. Yeah.
Thanks for joining us on Tech Time Radio. We hope that you had a chance to have that moment today in technology. The fun doesn't stop there. We recommend that you go to techtimeradio.com and join our fan list for the most important aspect of staying connected and winning some really great monthly prizes. We also have a few other ways to stay connected, including subscribing to our podcast on any podcast service, from Apple to Google and everything in between. We're also on YouTube, so check us out on youtube.com/techtimeradio, all one word. We hope you enjoyed the show as much as we did making it for you. From all of us at Tech Time Radio, remember, mum's the word. Have a safe and fantastic week.